You also killed civilians on October 7th,
We didn't
Mr.
kill
Hamdan.
civilians. It was claims from the Israelis.
But
The
your
idea,
own Qassam brigade published videos, sir. Are you still in denial about your
published
forces?
video of what?
Body cam videos of your forces shooting at people in the festival.
They-
Young people
no,
who were
in
partying.
fact- in
They were
fact-
not soldiers.
We did not publish
Shooting-
that. We did not publish that.
People we see in the body cam videos with bandanas, clearly looking like Palestinians, shooting young people at the Nova Festival. Who were these people if they were not your fighters?
Just how evil is Hamas? Check out this interview over here with a Hamas spokesperson trying to whitewash everything that happened. We'll watch it together and then we'll talk about it. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
So I ask you again, Mr. Hamdan, what has this resistance achieved for Palestinians?
Well, first of all, it achieved for the Palestinians a general understanding that the Israeli occupation must be ended. And I think...
But at what price, Mr. Hamdan? Has the price been worth it?
Living as a free nation, can you evaluate that by price? If I want to tell you that Norway will be occupied by another nation, are you ready to accept that? Because this will allow you just to live without being killed? What the meaning of life that you have to be a slave or you are supposed to be killed? Is that the life you are seeking for the Palestinians? Is that the life you are choosing for the Palestinian people? Is that the life which the international community prefer for the Palestinians?
Explain to us, Mr. Hamdan, why should a Palestinian widow in the Gaza Strip with 4 children who are living under a tarp on the beaches of Gaza support Hamas after all they've experienced due to your attack?
Because she understands that her husband was killed by the Israelis. Her family was killed by the bombardment of the Israelis. Her house was destroyed by the Israeli troops in public on the cameras. They showed that without any assistance. All the people, they understand that they were suffering because of the Israelis.
But
and they
this
admire,
recent
and they
suffering was
admire,
brought upon them by your attack.
They admire the resistance, and they know that the Palestinians will not survive without this resistance. They understand that 75,000 Palestinians were killed by the Israelis, not by the resistance. They understand that the resistance have killed the Israeli soldiers, while the Israeli soldiers are killing the civilians, the children and the women.
But you also killed civilians on October 7th,
We didn't
Mr.
kill
Hamdan.
civilians. It was claims from the Israelis, and they came back and they've said it was lies. They talked about beheaded children and women were burned.
No, I'm not talking about the beheaded children. That was debunked. That was debunked. Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
They have claimed that, and that was said by the Americans, and Biden himself came to say, I will not accept that to be happening.
But your own Qassam brigade published videos, sir. Are you still in denial about your
published
forces?
video of what?
Body cam videos of your forces shooting at people in the festival.
They-
Young people
no,
who were
in
partying.
fact- in
They were
fact-
not soldiers.
No. In fact, the Israelis...
Do you deny that?
The Israelis in Hamas, they published an investigation done by the police that the real attack at the festival was by the Israeli forces, and they were shooted by the helicopters, and there was a missile strikes against that under the slogan that there was Hamas militants
But the
among
videos
people.
with the Qassam brigade
Well,
logo
you know,
on it, with your fighters, with the
in fact,
bandanas on.
In fact, we did not publish
shooting.
that. We did not publish that.
But they were found on the bodies of
I
your
think
fighters.
it was a claim from the Israelis. You don't know if they were saying that they are claiming that the Hamas have done this and that. Why not to fake some pictures? Why not to fake some video tapes? Why not? Because
Mr. Hamdan,
created-
I find this very astonishing. So those
If you-
piles
if
of
you want-
bodies we
if you
saw from
want-
the Noah
if you
Festival,
want- if-
they were killed by who?
If we want to talk about targeting the civilians, the Israelis are targeting the hospitals, targeting the schools, targeting the mosques. No one of the resistance have targeted a hospital, or a school.
I just want this on record, Mr. Hamdan. The people we see in the body cam videos with bandanas, with Qassam Brigade logos, clearly looking like Palestinians shooting young people at the Nova Festival, who were these people if they were not your fighters?
I have to ask for that because the Israelis have betrayers who have killed the Palestinians. Why not to film a video in the same way? Why not?
So you're saying Israeli Defense Forces dressed up people like your fighters to kill their own people?
I think the Israelis are faking a huge story about how the Palestinians have killed civilians to justify killing 75,000 Palestinians. This is the major issue.
Hamas claims it represents at least part of the Palestinian people, that it acts in their interests. What do you base this claim of legitimacy on?
Well, I think the most important base for the legitimacy is the elections, the voting from the people, either through the elections or through any kind of asking the people about their opinion. In 2006, unfortunately, that was the last elections in Palestine. We won the elections. We had 79 members in the parliament out of 128. That means you have the majority in the parliament and you have the majority of the votes.
Most Gazans today weren't even born when you guys came to power. So how can you claim that you still represent the people of Gaza when the elections happened 20 years ago?
Well, anyone can claim anything, but when you were elected at the last time when there was elections, you can keep claiming that. And we are ready for the elections. If we felt once that we may not have the voting with the people, we will not welcome the elections. We are welcoming the elections every time. We believe that the Palestinians as a nation have the right to choose their elections, to elect the people who are leading them, so they can trust that those people that they are doing the best for the nation.
You say Hamas represents the Palestinian people. Why are then many Palestinians afraid to voice their opinion about Hamas?
Because they believe if they spoke during this war clearly, they will be targeted by the Israelis. If they've said that they support Hamas, Israel will target them directly. That happened all the time.
No, but people are afraid to criticize you. I'm almost weekly in touch with people in the Gaza Strip. I've been covering this war on a daily basis. And a lot of Palestinians are afraid to voice their opinion about you, about how you're ruling the Gaza Strip, about your actions. They don't dare to speak on camera.
Everyone can criticize Hamas. The people criticize Hamas all the time. We don't dare of that. We accept if that criticism was okay or was real, we will reform the problem and solve it. I dare anyone to say that he's prevented from criticizing Hamas.
Mr. Hamdan, when was the last time you saw a demonstration against Hamas in
during
the Gaza
the war?
strips?
It's really difficult to keep track of all the lies that were just spewed from this person's face. But let's slow down and look at some of the facts. Hamas is not a resistance movement. It's officially designated as a terrorist organization by the United States, by the United Kingdom, by the European Union, and others. That designation exists because Hamas deliberately targets civilians. On October 7th, Hamas fighters entered into Israeli towns and communities and murdered civilians in their homes. Families were shot. People were burned alive. Children and elderly people were kidnapped and taken into Gaza. This isn't disputed. Human Rights Watch concluded that Hamas-led groups committed war crimes and crimes against humanity on October 7th, including deliberate attacks on civilians and hostage-taking. A United Nations Commission of Inquiry documented attacks on civilian targets. Amnesty International also documented the killing of civilians and hostage-taking. These are not Israeli government reports. These are international human rights organizations that are oftentimes really unfriendly to Israel. And yet in interviews, Hamas spokespeople deny killing civilians. They deny targeting innocent people. They speak as if they're freedom fighters. That's not confusion, that's lying. Resistance movements fight soldiers. Terror groups target families in their homes. Resistance movements seek political change. Hamas' founding charter calls for the destruction of Israel. Its leaders have publicly said that they will repeat October 7th again and again. That's not liberation. That is an ideology that is built on destruction. And here's something else. Propaganda matters. When a spokesperson sits in a safe location and calmly rewrites what happens, he's not just defending himself, he's trying to erase victims. Evil often works this way. First the crime, then the denial, then the attempt to turn the criminal into the hero. We can't allow that. That's not about politics. It's about moral clarity. You cannot burn families alive and then call it resistance. You can't kidnap children and call it justice. You can't glorify death and pretend that you stand for freedom. The world must be able to say clearly and without hesitation, targeting civilians is evil. And if we lose the courage to say that plainly, we lose something far more important than an argument. We lose our moral compass. And when we hold on to that compass, when we insist that human life is sacred, that's how we push back against darkness. Truth, clarity, and the refusal to excuse evil. That's where light begins. If you like this content overall, that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.